I'm Donna from Nastasia.com. Today I'll be talking about yarn. There are many beautiful types of yarn out there. However, going into a yarn store can be very confusing. This video will talk about fiber content, textures, sizes and weights, and how to substitute yarn in patterns. Yarn fibers generally fall into three categories: natural, synthetic, and combination. First are the natural sources. The natural sources of yarn fall into two categories: animal sources and plant sources. Animal sources include wool, mohair, cashmere, alpaca, camel, llama, and silk, while plant sources include linen, bamboo, and cotton. Next, we have synthetic fibers such as nylon, polyester, and acrylic. And finally, we have blends of natural and synthetic fiber combinations. The type of yarn you use is more of a personal preference. However, it can depend upon the pattern you are using. For example, wool is usually more expensive but works great for winter items such as sweaters, hats, and mittens. However, on baby skin, cotton yarn might be cooler and softer. And for blankets and afghans that are large and will be used and washed frequently, acrylic yarn is an inexpensive choice that holds up through daily use. Now that we've talked about fiber content, let's move on to basic textures. The most basic type is plied yarn. This means several strands are usually twisted together to form what's generally viewed as traditional yarn. You might hear 2-ply, 3-ply, or 4-ply. The number 4 indicates 4 strands were used to create the yarn. There is boucle yarn, which as you can see is a combination of a thread, loops, and other fun elements. Another type is chenille. It's very round, soft, and thick. Here is a fun eyelash yarn that looks great in scarves. This is a ribbon yarn, as evident by the fact that, well, it looks like ribbon. And then there are the combination yarns, where anything and everything can be found within the content. Let's move on to yarn weights. This standard helps knitters and crocheters understand what yarn to use in patterns. There are numbers that range from 0 to 6, with 0 being the thinnest yarn and 6 being the thickest yarn. You will usually find this number somewhere on the label. Size 1 is a popular weight for sock yarn. Size 2 is considered fingering weight yarn, oftentimes used in fine detailed work or baby clothes. Size 3 is sport weight yarn, a nice size to use in lightweight garments. 4, or worsted weight, is probably the most popular. 5 is bulky weight. These yarns work up very quickly. 6 is super bulky weight. With this yarn, you can create a hat in less than 2 hours. So, what if your yarn doesn't have a label on it, or you accidentally threw the label away? Not to worry, there is an easy guide to follow called WPI, or wraps per inch. There's a tool you can use that has markings on it to designate 1 inch. You take your yarn and carefully wrap it around this tool, making sure not to overlap or pull too tightly. Then you count the wraps within the inch and compare it to your guide. In this case, we have a DK weight yarn. And if you don't have this tool, don't worry. You can take a pencil, mark off an inch, wrap your yarn within that section, count the wraps, and compare it to the WPIs, or wraps per inch, listed in this video. Substituting yarn can sometimes be easy, but sometimes it can be rather difficult. Generally speaking, you can substitute within the same weight. In other words, if you have a size 4 or worsted weight in acrylic, you can substitute a size 4 in silk and wool. However, depending upon the exact stitches per inch listed on the label, you might need to go up or down a hook or needle size. Other things to consider when substituting yarn are fibers and textures. For example, a finished pattern made with bamboo yarn may not be as soft and drapey if you used acrylic yarn. As we've been told countless times, making a test swatch and then measuring the gauge can save you a lot of time, especially if you are substituting yarn within a pattern. I hope this video has helped you, and please visit www.nastasia.com for more tips and tricks on creative, self-sufficient living.